everybody. It's Professor Malat here with your Week 5 overview. Week 5 already. We're a third of the way through the semester. Keep up the good work. So let's open the overview page here, and I'll try to get through most of this stuff quickly so I can get to the meat of this video. This week, you're thinking a bit more about your project. I really want you to solidify your idea about what you're going to analyze, what genre you're going to choose, and how you're going to go about doing that. And we'll talk more about that assignment this week, but let's go over the various things that I have assigned for reading. We have Beyond the 5-Paragraph Essay module from the University of Mississippi Rhet Lab. You can go and read through the whole module if you want to, or you can just skim parts of it, but I'd like you to understand the meat of it here. This formulaic versus organic structure, and understand the differences between the 5-paragraph essay. There's a really cool graphic here which shows you the difference between the two types of approaches to academic writing. The 5-paragraph essay is typically something that is taught in high schools in order to prepare students to take some kind of a standardized test, whether it's the SAT or the ACT or some kind of college entrance exam. And there are arguments for and against this type of writing. It can be a really good way to introduce students how to organize their thoughts. However, because it's done so much, some students get kind of stuck in that format and they feel that everything that they have to write should only be 5 paragraphs, or, making what would be maybe a 3-paragraph or a 2-paragraph answer into a 5-paragraph essay when they don't need to. So this shows you the difference between the 5-paragraph theme or the 5-paragraph essay and the more organic college paper. So we're kind of stretching you to break free of that format writing and formulaic writing. However, sometimes when you write a rhetorical analysis for the first time, it can be kind of difficult to wrap your mind around how you do it and how to craft a good thesis statement, that kind of thing. So we have this handout here, Rhetorical Analysis Outline and Writing Tips. And it introduces you to the rhetorical prases. And so it's kind of like a template to craft part of your introduction. So if you see here, look at the types of things that typically would go into a rhetorical analysis thesis, or would be included in the introduction of a rhetorical analysis. Things like the name of the author, the genre, the title of the work, and then some kind of assertion. You're going to make some kind of assertion about the work. Explain how the author develops and or supports that thesis, usually in chronological order. A statement of the author's apparent purpose, followed by the in order to phrase, and a description of the intended audience. So this is kind of a template for you. You could say, and I wonder, I think there's one that has an example. Yes. So on the second page, there is an example of how you could go about doing some kind of a rhetorical analysis introduction, or the précis. It says here, Barbara Kingsolver, creator of the Bellwether Prize and an honorary PhD from DePauw University, in her essay Stone Soup, argues that a happy and whole family is not limited to the generic family of Dahl's nuclear family. Kingsolver develops her argument through the use of pertinent examples, both anecdotal and historical. So here they're kind of introducing how, right? That's the how part of the rhetorical analysis, the rhetorical strategies the writer uses, supplemented by thought-provoking rhetorical questions and effective reference to outside literature. She writes to abolish the irrational thinking of how families who do not fit the traditional mold are broken and failed In order to, so this is getting to the purpose of that text that you're analyzing. So, in order to rectify society's perception of these broken homes, Kingsolver writes for an audience of adults from as young as 20 years of age, as shown with her sophisticated yet relatable writing style for her readers. So, say, for example, you choose to analyze a music video. Maybe you want to analyze the Pharrell Williams Happy video, right? So you would start off by saying Pharrell Williams in his music video Happy, blah, 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 um, uplifts, or, it's not that he's really making an argument, but you could figure out something along those lines. And he develops this through the use of lively visuals, yada, 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 right? Upbeat tempo, so on and so forth, the variety of things that would come in to persuade the audience, to show that happiness is something everybody can achieve, whatever you want to say about it. He does this, right, in order to blah blah blah, and the the music video was created for an audience, and then you could figure out what type of audience you think are most drawn to that music video. So that's just an example. I kind of did a lame attempt at pulling in some kind of rhetorical text, or text that you would rhetorically analyze, but I think you would get the idea here. So, these are several different ways to go about organizing your thoughts. I find this to be kind of a helpful template, so you feel free to use it. If you don't like it, or you can't fit, it's just not how your brain works, don't feel like you have to do something like that in this introduction. Um, but then it goes through the outline as well with the body paragraphs. You're not limited to 3 body paragraphs. You can write more body paragraphs if you need to. And let's see, what other suggestions do they have in this outline? Provide textual evidence of a strategy. So, any type of strategy that you want to discuss, whether it's repetition, um, rhetorical appeals, so on and so forth. Um, and you can go paragraph by paragraph, analyzing the variety of elements that you want to in that rhetorical analysis. Hopefully, that makes a bit of sense. There's more to it in here, lots of hints, lots of tips. So it's a good handout to take a look at. Please don't skip over it. That said, let's move on to the other things. Some of you have asked about MLA format. So I have the Purdue OWL guidelines for MLA formatting, as well as a sample paper. Also, keep in mind that if you go, I'm over in the modules tab here. If you go back to the main modules page, and look under course resources, you'll find the list of links, and you can find my YouTube channel. I also have videos for formatting in Microsoft Word and in Google Docs. I should probably just link those, so they're available to you. Actually, that's what I will do. I'm going to copy and paste these into the module. That way you have access to them, but they're always housed there. That's like a permanent place for them. So just give me a second here while I drop these into the module. There we go. These are 2 YouTube videos that I did, probably, I don't know, 1 or 2 years ago, because the questions came up quite frequently in my prep classes, but also those of you who are in English 1001, it may have been several years since you've been in school, and you've had to write anything. And things change with MLA, things change frequently. So it's always good to know where you can find resources, right? So we have those format guidelines, the sample paper, and then for our content this week, because we are dealing dealing with the question, do we deserve to be happy? I have two things for you to read. One is an article by Giles Fraser that was in The Guardian. I think that's a UK newspaper. This one, taking pills for unhappiness, reinforces the idea that being sad is not human. So we're kind of looking at, um, is it so bad to not always be happy? Right? A good question. Do we deserve happiness? And then another article is by Stover here, The Case for Melancholy. So check those out. Read those. Again, I provide these as food for thought, not trying to promote one idea or the other. This is just food for thought to give you some things to think about, um, as well as a text that maybe, if you're interested in it and you want to analyze it, it's something that you can go for. For the videos here, these two go along with the reading for the Ret Lab. So again, you don't have to go through the whole module if you want to sit through and watch these videos instead. Just give me a moment here. I wanted to pause my video so I could spare you the horrendous sound of me clearing my throat. So we have two videos here from The Nature of Writing. The first one is why you shouldn't write a 5-paragraph essay. It's about 12 minutes long. This is a really good video. It's kind of done in the style of Khan Academy. If you're familiar with those videos, it's kind of, there's a black screen and you can see the person writing on the screen at the time, um, through their computer or their tablet. You see the text come up, um, and the person is speaking through the lesson, as well as the follow-up video, Organic Essay Structure, which is about 7 minutes long. These two go again with this reading, so it will reinforce those things. And as you saw me just add before, there are formatting tips for both Microsoft Word and Google Docs. If you compose in something else, like Apple or Mac Pages, I'm not a Mac person. I'm not familiar, so I can't do a tutorial for that. However, you should be able to find that information somewhere on the internet. All you have to do is put it into a search bar, and you should be able to find something somewhere, right? So these are videos. Okay, to the assignment. This is the meat. Journal number 5 is the meat. We have summary and responses ideas for the Rhetorical Analysis Project, and that's due on Sunday. So let's take a look. This is kind of a pre-draft assignment. This is to get the ball rolling, to get you thinking about things, where you're kind of summarizing and planning for the topic of your rough draft. The rough draft is due in week 6, the following week. So no need to panic. This is a very low key, just to get you started and thinking about the project, so you're not waiting until the last minute to actually do it. So I have a blurb here from the Ret Lab. Once more, excuse me. And I quote here, summarizing involves condensing the main idea of a source into a much shorter overview. A summary outlines a source's most important points and general position. When summarizing a source, it's a good idea to use a citation to give credit to the original author. You should reference the author or source in the appropriate citation method at the end of the summary. So I know that we haven't covered citation yet. However, we do have those resources available. I do link them. I didn't link them here, but I do link them for the rough draft so that you know how to cite a source should you need to. It's not a, I'm not going to mark you down just because you forgot to cite something, but be aware that this is something that we need to get into the habit of. So it's a good idea that you use some kind of citation, whether it's like so and so said, or blah 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 quote, and you use the parentheses. If you don't know how to use the parentheses, don't panic, you will learn. So the directions here: write a page summarizing and outlining how you plan to analyze your chosen text, and I put text in quotes because text covers anything from, videos, a speech, uh, text on the page, an advertisement, you name it. So select a text to analyze and decide which medium you will use for the rhetorical analysis project. Will you write a traditional essay, or do you want to do a presentation? And keep in mind, the presentation, you're going to do some writing anyway. It's not just pictures and a few words on a slide. I expect that if you are writing a presentation, you are going to compose some kind of a script that you would follow if you were to stand up in front of a group and present the material, right? Because we all know what is the most boring thing in the world: to sit through a presentation where somebody is just reading off their slides or they're reading from their paper, right? So it's important to have some idea of how you would speak through or talk through your slides that you have created. So it's not just as simple as slide creation, right? You have to have the thinking process and how you would present that information if you were standing in front of a group. Okay. Um, then you're going to summarize your text. So first you have to choose a text that you're going to analyze, decide how you're going to do it, whether you're going to write a paper, which might be the easier thing to do, or to do some kind of a slide presentation or a video, right? Draft a complete but concise summary of the text. For this essay or for this project, the summary should be between 5 to 8 sentences, and it can be developed as part of your essay or presentation for the rhetorical analysis project. So if you write a really solid summary and it's really good, you can use that summary as a paragraph in your rhetorical analysis essay, or you can develop that into a slide. So you're doing some of the brain work, some of the legwork prior to creating your rough draft. This is a pre-draft assignment. Um, and then the response planning. So to get you started, I have some questions here to help you think about, and you can provide some brainstormed answers to the following. So, think about who is the author, who's the creator. We're going to just use author here, but the person who created it, right? If there isn't an author, provide the title of the website, the video, the advertisement, so on and so forth. Um, what is the purpose? What are they trying to accomplish? Why did they feel the need to write the text or use chosen images, so on and so forth? The audience and the relationship to the reader, to whom is the text addressed? And then, of course, we want to look at context. What are the influencing factors surrounding the event of the text? Sometimes that's difficult to figure out. If you don't know, don't worry about it, right? Where and when was the text written? Are you choosing something that was written in the 1950s? Or is it, present day? Was it a Super Bowl ad last year? Was it a political speech in 2020? Right? The those things matter when you are analyzing a text, right? And analyzing the way that somebody uses language to persuade a particular audience. Voice. So things like, what is the overall tone of the text? Does it change? Why? These are all just kind of things to think about. Again, you don't have to answer each and every question, but it's stuff to get the ball rolling, right? The genre. What type of writing is it? Is it a web page? Is it an essay? Is it an article? Is it a YouTube video? Is it a music video? Is it a speech? Is it a TED talk? That kind of thing. What is the writing? What type of writing is it? What type of, you understand? And then the strategies. How did the author write the text? What choices do they make? I should change the wording of that. Effectiveness. Is the author rhetorically effective? Does that text move you in any way? Does the text convincingly get you to think critically or differently about the topic or the subject matter? And the length that you should strive for is 2 double-spaced pages using 12-point font. Again, if you aren't sure what that means, go back to those MLA formatting videos where I explain it to you. All of the information you answer in this response goes to help you construct your rhetorical analysis project. This way, you can get a lot of the thinking out of the way. So, when the time comes for you to really dig in and do your rhetorical analysis project, you have a really clear idea of where you're going. You don't have to have a fully formed idea of where you're going with the project for this, but the work that you do now will help you with your rough draft in the coming week. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Um, that is the first. And then we have, of course, the week 5 reading questions. Um, so I have a few questions for taking pills for unhappiness. Um, Fraser uses his own experience as an example. Why does he do that? So, again, we're kind of rhetorically analyzing some things here. Do you think this and other evidence he offers effectively supports his case? Why or why not? What is Fraser's point about the place of unhappiness in human life? Do you agree or not? And then in the case for melancholy, what does Stover mean by quote unquote mental sleeping? You can find that in the third paragraph. Can you think of examples of this from your own experience? Explain. So hopefully that's pretty straightforward. Again, everything is due on Sunday. So if you have any questions for me, please don't hesitate to send me an email. That's why I'm here. Sometimes I'm busier. I have busier weeks than others. So if I have a really busy weekend and you email me on a Saturday, I may not get to it until Sunday evening when I turn my attention once more to planning for the week. That's just how I do it. You know, we all need a little bit of a break. I am not on call 24/7, but I do try to address your emails as promptly as I can. Okay. Have a fantastic week, everybody. Enjoy the sunshine. I plan to get out and do some hiking this weekend. So I'm really excited about that. Okay. Take care and bye bye.